This is probably, as you can tell by what the reason that you clicked on it in the first place, me versus Lex, OM Grand Slam playoffs, and folks, we're in for a marathon here. So this is quite the series. Definitely not terribly short, but I'm gonna try to go through them without without coughing too much. So, OM Grand Slam. A big OM tournament, 5 opens, basically works like Smogon Grand Slam. If you don't know what that is, I would just advise looking it up. But basically, it's going to be a best of 5 with 5 other metagames. We agreed to ban balanced Hackmons because there's 6 OMs, you got to ban it down to 5. And we're going to be starting off with almost any ability just because we felt it was pretty neutral. Now, for OM Grand Slam, I decided I wanted to, for the most part, build my own teams. This includes all the way up to playoffs. I didn't build all of the teams here. I believe I built 4 of them. 4 of the 5. Spoilers. So, AAA is one of the ones I did build, and AAA just isn't something I'm terribly familiar with. I feel like in the metagame there's a lot of reward you can get by just slapping some random abilities on things, which is why I kind of just stopped playing it in the first place. But I went back, I tried to build, I tested a lot with some people like Farden, and this is what I have come up with. Now, one of the things I realized only after the fact is that I've got some threats to this team. For example, Terrakion. Can't really switch into it. Like, if he clicks Close Combat or Stone Edge, I can switch into one of those. Can't really, switch into both with anything. Like, Tapu Bulu still takes a ton. Buzzwole. I have Noivern, that's a check. I have Entei, that's maybe a check before it gets too many bulk ups up. But if this is a triage Buzzwole, that's a scary, scary threat. Mew is also going to be slightly obnoxious just because it can run so much stuff. I just don't want to deal with it. But my game plan is sort of something like Tapu Bulu can put in some work. If I can weaken Fundy, if I can weaken Buzzwole, Tapu Bulu could be fun, but otherwise, he has checks to all my stuff pretty well, and I'm just going to have to sort of play it and see. I will say right now, I felt like the wrestling games I played pretty well. I'm fine with how I played. I'm not happy with how I played AAA. It was the first game, I had just gotten back from school, and I guess I was shaky or something, which is absolutely not an excuse, but I definitely made a couple of, really one major, just super dumb play that should be pretty obvious once it happens. I never should have made it. So, turn 1, I'm going to lead with the Scarf Adaptability Crocodile. He's going to lead with the Scarf, probably Aerolate or something, Landorus. And I immediately want to knock it off, because Landorus is a Noivern check. Removing that means that his Noivern checks are less. Now, I would have said Noivern is a huge threat, except he has a Magearna, which, Noivern is a big threat, but he has the best counter in the game, which is a reliable Regen Vest Magearna, Regenerator Assault Vest, which is what I'm going to have to assume it is, because otherwise he's super weak to stuff like Noivern and, Manaphy. So I have to assume it's that. And, it can put in work, but to a point, because he still is the best counter in the game. He's going to go Terrakion, which, unfortunately, I really wanted to remove the Scarf, but free Terrakion is scary. I'm going to go Zapdos, just try to scout it out as he immediately Stone Edges, which was a good play, because there's no way I'm knocking it off, and if I was, he's probably Z-move or something, which means he doesn't have to, worry about it at all. I'm going to go right into Tapu Bulu as he Swords Dances. I'm not really exactly sure what I was hoping for there. It was probably kind of questionable. I'm just going to throw out a Horn Leech because I'm super scared of what he might do. And Magearna comes in. So I'm reasonably certain he's going to Volt Switch. It's just a pretty safe play. And Crocodile isn't a huge threat to have in. I'm going to double to Entei though, because I'm reasonably certain Buzzwole is a great switch into Crocodile. That should be pretty self-evident. And Flash Fire Buzzwole is a thing, but I am Mold Breaker Entei. You can't see the chat on the side. It probably flashed back pretty quickly, but I am Mold Breaker on this Entei, which is just to bust right through Flash Fire, which is what I was like, there's a good chance he's Flash Fire. I'm scared of Triage, but looking at his team, his Fire Resist is Terrakion, so that would make a lot of sense. So I'm going to go Entei. I'm going to hope he's going to Flash Fire Buzzwole, and I'm going to just smack something around with a Sacred Fire. And this is where everything goes wrong, because he's running Primordial Sea Thunderous, which is a thing. It is actually a common thing, apparently. I just did not know about that, because I'm not too familiar with this. I'm going to go right into Ferrothorn, trying to see what he's running, and see Nasty Paws, and this is the play, where I'm like, well, okay, he's clearly focus blasting. Why don't I switch in my Noivern, which is just so stupid because as much as he is the best counter in the game, and as much as I figured even if I get it wrong, I don't need Noivern, that's stupid. Because he showed that he's almost certainly Triage Buzzwole, and Triage Buzzwole is just a massive, massive threat. I don't need the Ferrothorn, I need the Noivern. That's just how it works. This game is going to go by awfully quickly. I'm going to go to Crocodile. I am running Rock Tomb. Stone Edge might have killed, but it's unreliable, and I just have Rock Tomb slow down random things. I'm not really sure why. This team really isn't terrible. It just need to be played better than this. I'm going to speed this up. He goes to Mew. All I know is that he's running Scald and Stealth Rock. And I'm just going to spam defog. Okay, I eventually Volt switch into Tapu Bulu because I realize I can't beat the Mew. I'm not running Toxic. Tapu Bulu is going to get a Sword Dance up, and I am actually Fightinium Z Superpower. Specifically for Magearna. That'd be great if I had Noivern left, but you know what? I don't have Noivern left. So he's going to go Lando. I guess not realizing I'm Triage, then I reveal Triage. He's like, oops. Excuse me. And now we can go into Buzzwole. I should have tried to Stone Edge or something. I should have, but like he still wins that with Bulk Up and Triage Priority Roost is gonna win, and that's if I hit everything. And as you can see, like I can't stop Buzzwole because I don't go right to Entei. I'm scared. I Roost, and he's gonna get up to +3 defense at this point. And yeah, like Flare Blitz just isn't doing enough. He's way too bulky at this point. And that's the game. I just forfeit here because I cannot beat Buzzwole. I really was not terribly happy with how I played this one. And yeah, that's all I gotta say. I feel like I collected myself, took a second, I'm like, alright, let's move on to Anything Goes. Because Anything Goes, I am much more confident in. That's kind of my thing. I play Anything Goes. I bring this team that I've been using a lot because it's very good, basic, strong, hyper offense stuff that I felt, you know, I was a little shaken. I just want to bring something I was confident in. I did have another team prepared, but I did not use that team because I was like, let's just go with this. He's got an interesting team. I have no clue where he stole it from. It looks alright. It looks solid. He's got double ray resist, so it's not like I built my own team and I'm not prepared to face Mega Ray at all, which is what I have seen from non-AG players trying to get into it. You know, playing against Mega Ray is like nothing else in this game. He's got the two very bulky steel types that resist Xerneas, which is pretty annoying because I'm Choice Specs, I'm not Geomancy, which would be a pretty big threat. Geomancy, Thunder, Focus Blast, if I could hit those two things, would be a massive threat to his team. But I'm going to leave Gracias. Another good thing about this team is that he's not terribly familiar with AG. He might not know what Gracias runs. It runs Stealth Rock. Stealth Rock lead Gracias. He's just going to Toxic me with Celesteela. And I am Stealth Rock 3 attacks, Ice Beam, Grass Knot, Fire Blast. Unfortunately, Fire Blast misses. He goes for a Leech Seed, just expecting me to switch, expecting me to not have Fire Blast. Surprise, they run Fire Blast. He leaves it in, I guess expecting it won't do much. It does 63%. So Celesteela is automatically incredibly chipped and is going to have a much harder time chipping things like Zygarde and Solgaleo and Xerneas, and you know what, that's great. I do expect him to just protect at this point. Because he's just trying to scout out like what the hell is going on, so I'm going to switch right into Groudon. It is Fire Punch, it can kill this. It lets Ray come in, but I'm just not terribly afraid of that. He actually goes into Arceus Water, which is good for me to see, because you know what? He can defog, that's fine. I have a Gracias, I'm going to force him directly back out again, and there's nothing he can do about it, and I can just get a Rocks. I do want Rocks very badly, because Ray... If you look at my team, like DD Ray is a big threat, and that'll come into play later. The potential of DD Ray, anyway. He goes to Arceus Dark, and I absolutely could have Grass Knotted and potentially 2-KO'd KO this or something, but I decided to go right into Xerneas. If he did have Sludge Bomb, that could have been a little risky, but I was reasonably certain he wouldn't just directly Sludge Bomb. You know, I was just like, if I lose Zern, then I'll just have to really switch up my gameplay to play very safe against Arceus Dark, but I was pretty confident. I'm just going to Moonblast because I want to play safe. Darkseus is another pretty big threat, just because it does have the potential to wear down Xerneas, which is my main stop to it. He's going to go Ferrothorn on the Moonblast. I'm reasonably certain he's just going to Stealth Rock, so I'm going to get my Rayquaza in because Rayquaza is a strong, happy dragon. I do have V-Create, but instead I decided to Dragon Ascent because he has a T-Tar, and I figured, you know, T-Tar's probably coming in. How about that? I thought I would be chipping it. I thought I'd be weakening it, so maybe my Dragon Dance Mega Rayquaza would be able to get through it later, but that does nothing. Absolutely nothing. So I'm just going to sack Gracias, because you know what? Something has to die, and it's pretty weak and toxic, and he's going to Rock Tomb. I actually do end up living after Rocks and Toxic and the damage. I try to Fire Blast, because I'm like, maybe he'll go Ferrothorn. Maybe it'll be the best play ever. He actually risks his Ray, I guess, just not knowing that they run Ice Beam, which is fair if you don't have that information, but super risky considering how integral Ray was. And here I'm going to go Solgaleo. It is a Scarf Solgaleo. I figure he's probably DD, and I can, you know, get off a lot of damage, put him in E-Speed range. This is sort of how I play against Ray. For example, when I had Xerneas against the Arceus Dark, I could have Focus Blasted, because, you know, it hits Darkseus, it hits Ferrothorn. Those are his main two things right there. But that could be a DD Ray setup, and you just play hard against DD Ray. That's sort of how this team does. I have two strong E-Speeders. It's hard for Ray to set up on anything that's not like a Choice Mon or Groudon. You know, you play it by ear. That is just to justify why I send in Solgaleo and it gets immediately OHKO'd by Choice Scarf, V-Create, Mega Rayquaza, which, looking at his team, it makes sense. He definitely is a bit slow, and he already has strong E-Speed checks, like 3 of the best normal resists. But, you know, him locking this up into V-Create, not all terrible. I do lose Solgaleo for nothing, but I am going to be able to get a Dragon Dance up with Ray. I can live in Ice Beam if he's not invested, so I'm going to just Dragon Ascent as he ends up Toxicking, which is very questionable, because I'm Lum. I guess he didn't know. He could have thought I was Life Orb or something, and Toxic would wear me down. It's just not going to work like that, though. He goes T-Tar. I'm going to Dragon Ascent because I can tank any hit, or so I think. He actually crits a Rock Tomb. Unfortunate. I definitely thought the game was a lot closer at this point, because now I only have 3 Mons, and if that Arceus Dark is Iron Defense, this becomes very tough and questionable and scary, because I have to play super hard with Xerneas not getting weakened, and maybe I have to predict the Ferrothorn coming in with Focus Blast. Maybe I have to hit Focus Blast. It has the potential to become very dicey and questionable. But I am going to go Groudon, because if he wants to go Ray, that's great. I want Ray weakened, and I want it weakened yesterday, because it can come in on Xern and just get a kill. He goes Darkseus, as I'm just I don't really know what he's going to do, so I just Swords Dance, because I don't really need Groudon. My thought process was something like, I don't really need Groudon. If he 2-KOs me, I can go right into Xern, and I can click Moonblast and we're good. But then I realized if he gets Ferrothorn in, it can become dicey if he Leech Seeds the Zygarde, because I'm planning to win with DD Zygarde. But DD Zygarde needs its Z move for a full health Ferrothorn. It's Z 1000 Arrows, like Ground DMZ Zygarde. It needs that Z move to OHKO the Darkseus after it gets boosted. It needs it to kill a full health Ferrothorn as well. So I realized I need to preserve Groudon as a potential death fodder, because if I go Xern and then he sacks something, goes Ray, even if Zygarde Dragon Dances on Ray, no, he can't sack something. Okay. I basically kind of fucked up this commentary, but I thought that I might need Groudon for death fodder, even if that death fodder is at Ferrothorn Leech Seeding and protecting. Jesus. I had a lot of thoughts in my head right there. That's probably how my thought process went too. I really went back and forth on this play, but I ended up risking Xern, expecting him to just not Sludge Bomb right there, and he does not Sludge Bomb, so that's a good thing. He just sacks Darkseus here. He really, whatever he did, I almost certainly had to win, but I don't know. Darkseus feels like it might have been safer, but yeah, he sacks Darkseus, ends up going Ray. This is why I kept Groudon for death fodder, in case he sacked Ferrothorn and then went Ray, because I wanted Xerneas for Darkseus. But now, because he doesn't have Darkseus, I don't need to save Xerneas. Okay, that makes a little more sense. Jesus, way to be professional. Anyway, I'm gonna go Zygarde. It can DD on a Scarf Ray's Dragon Ascent. I expect it doesn't really know what this does, so I'm just gonna bop him with the Ground EMZ. If you wanted to go Ray on that, which would be the prediction, then it's gonna not be able to switch back into Rocks, which means I can E-Speed, and then even if Ferrothorn beats Zygarde somehow, I have a Fire Punch Primal Groudon in the back. So that is going to be anything goes. Definitely made me feel a little more solid about myself going to Game 3. Going to Game 3, he's going to choose Monotype. I figure Normal is probably an okay choice, and he goes Fairy. And I do like Normal versus Fairy and Monotype, because it has a slight advantage for Normal, in my opinion. But Fairy still has many ways to surprise Normal, mostly with coming up with unconventional sets or just playing really, really well. And definitely one of the more even matchups that we could have had, as opposed to just like a, well, win by matchup. Azumarill is definitely his biggest threat. My biggest threat is that Choice Band Diggersby doesn't really have a great switch in here, which is why I'm just going to lead with it, because I like just threatening things with Diggersby off the bat. Very nice, very offensive start. Just going to click Frustration because he has a Bulu running around, as he's going to get up rocks. And I'm like, you know what, that's fine. Looking good here. So I'm pretty clearly banded, which is why he's going to go to Magearna, and look, I have a Chansey. I have a Chansey, and I'm there's no way he's going to Floor Cannon. So I'm going to stay in, I'm going to Frustration, because I know he's doing something, and he doubles into Tapu Bulu. And this should have told me something. First of all, he barely lives, which is really unfortunate. If he had died, this whole thing would have gone a lot differently. But this should have told me something, the fact that he doubled into Bulu, because Scarf Tapu Bulu does not beat Chansey. It just like isn't great versus Chansey. If he wanted to abuse Chansey, he could have doubled into Klefki and Spiked. He could have doubled into like a Band Azu or something. But despite that, I'm like, the most common Tapu Bulu set is Scarf, and I'm gonna play as if it's Scarf because I can't really have I don't have any other information right now, and if he's not Scarf, he's pretty slow. But just in general, Fairy type teams are slow. He has a Tapu Koko, he has Klefki priority, he has a Azumarill priority. Like, how much faster do you want to get? Basically, what I'm trying to say is I really should have seen that this Tapu Bulu is Choice Band. It is not Scarf. And knowing that he's Choice Band, I would have played it differently. But I know that Defensive Staraptor can switch into Tapu Bulu here. Do I need Defensive Staraptor for this matchup? Yes, it is critical for playing against a Belly Drum Azumarill. But I don't get the KO. I don't play it right. I go into Staraptor. I could have just sacked Porygon Z. Like, Porygon Z is not sweeping or anything. Yeah, he Stone Edges. I can't even get the kill here because he's faster than I am because I'm defensive Staraptor. And that really does dictate the rest of the game. Because without Staraptor, as soon as he gets screens up and belly drums with the Azumarill, either I'm going to have to pull off something with Ditto or I'm going to lose. That's the situation. But at the same time, he also has Tapu Bulu, which is completely capable of U-turning in on, or like something else U-turns on Chansey, and then Tapu Bulu comes in, basically just gets a kill. For example, I was hoping he wouldn't, but he did. I decide I need Chansey, because otherwise I'm going to lose to Magearna and Tapu Koko. And I go Ditto, because it's really the only... I know he's Horn Leeching. And instead of doing something like, say, sacking Porygon Z, I go Ditto. And decide that's the best death fodder. And it just wasn't. It just wasn't. I do think I was almost certainly going to lose the matchup, lose the game, as soon as he caught Staraptor with Stone Edge and he didn't miss either of them. Like, if he had missed, then I would have been totally bailed and wouldn't have deserved it, but he hit those. I'm going to sack Ditto. And, Azumarill is going to win. I'm not even going to really commentate the rest of this. I'm going to go Diggersby on the Bulu because now I know it's faster, because he's not Scarf. He sacks Koko, he goes Klefki. Klefki is going to screen, that's going to paralyze my Porygon Z. He actually goes to Bulu with screens up first, as I double to Pidgeot, mostly because the only way I can potentially beat Azumarill is with Hurricane Confusions, which is just very sad. Very, very sad. But I killed the Bulu, and here's the Azumarill, and there's no confusion for me today. And that's the game. He got me, like I said, as soon as that Stone Edge went off, he got me. And definitely unfortunate. I could have seen the signs, like I said, to know that was Band Bulu, but ultimately I just made a risk versus reward play to assume that it was Scarf. And that play was wrong. He was not Scarf, and I lost. Yep, Quick Attack's not enough to KO even with the Reflect going, and that's going to be the game. So, I'm down 2-1. Not feeling too happy. Starting to sniff a little bit, my bad. Time for Sketchmons, because Sketchmons I know Lax isn't a huge fan of. Doesn't really touch it too much, and I'm pretty sure I can pull off something in Sketchmons, and I'd much rather go to a Game 5 than a Game 4. So, he brings what, if you know Sketchmons, this is a pretty classic Webb's hyper offense. He's got the Specs Boomverse PZ, Lando and Greninja and Medicham, pretty strong Mons, Aerodactyl, great lead, and then Slowbro is a spinner, because if you're running Webbs, you have to have a spinner for other Webbs, which is just so dumb. But the Webbs versus Webbs matchup is complete AIDS. My team, even though it has an Arrow, and a Heracross, and a Mamoswine, and a Lele, is not Webbs. It is like Sketchmon's Balance, which is kind of sort of a thing, but kind of sort of not really a thing. It's a fun team. Now, unfortunately, and I feel super embarrassed saying this after talking about how much prep I went through, this team originally had Buzzwole in the Heracross slot. In fact, it was built around Rock Polish Buzzwole. Because Rock Polish Buzzwole hits a Z move, gets the +1 attack, and then it kind of just goes in. That was the theory. It's actually been pretty good. When Mega Heracross was released, I went to compare stats for this team, like compare Heracross versus Buzzwole. So I put Heracross, a Mega Heracross with Rock Polish in the slot instead, which in theory is also pretty good at that. But this team already has a Mega Aerodactyl. In fact, Mega Aerodactyl is an integral part of the team. And I had I had two versions of the team in my team builder. One with Buzzwole, one with Heracross, because Heracross was just like comparing how it looked and stuff and if I could change Arrow. And I accidentally bring the Heracross one. So this is a Heracross that cannot Mega Evolve, because I need, unless I just don't have Arrow Mega Evolve, but it's still running Pin Missile and Rock Blast. So that is my slight explanation, because it will dictate the pace of the game. Now, I know he's leading Arrow, it's Webb's hyper offense. I'm going to go with Gastrodon, because this Gastrodon is actually running Rapid Spin. You always want to have some kind of removal in Sketchmons until Webbs are just not broken. I mean, for now they're broken, and until they're not broken, then have Rapid Spin on something. That's what makes it not broken. You have to have a Rapid Spinner. Or a Defogger, but that's slightly more questionable. I'm going to show him a Rapid Spin, and then I'm going to Scald, because I assume he's going to switch, and I get massively rewarded for that play. Thank you very much. With a burn on the Medicham. That's huge. Because, like, look, Medicham just did 47 with a burned high jump kick. That's max defense Gastrodon. Like, Jesus. So yeah, I get massively rewarded for him switching to Scald, which is just great. He goes Specs PZ, something is going to have to take a big hit. I assume he's not going to HP ground turn 1, because that'd be pretty risky. And look, he does a million to Heatran anyway. Like, he doesn't have to. I'm not even lefties, because I'm running Shuckaberry. No, not Shuckaberry. I'm running something. I don't remember. I Doom Desire. I'm only running Doom Desire because I didn't have another move to run. It's been a semi-successful gimmick. I figured it might help pressure Slowbro. At this point, I was assuming it was lefties defensive, which is why after he spins, you're going to see me go Tapu Lele on the Scald, because I figure it is Scarf Tapu Lele. That's a very common set. I can go for a Shadow Ball. That plus Doom Desire will do a lot. Turns out he's actually Assault Vest, which is not what I expected. And even with Shadow Ball Doom Desire, he's still sitting at a very healthy 41%. I decided to stay in because I don't know. That it probably wasn't a great play to stay in there, but he goes PZ and I have to sack Heatran. It would have been pretty risky to switch into Heatran in the first place or anything else, because I don't want Scald Burns. But yeah, I'm going to end up letting Heatran go down because something has to die. PZ is just scary. And I'm going to go to Arrow now and just Mega Evolve in Pursuit, because Pursuit will do a billion to him. And he had two choices there. He could either go Slowbro and try to tank the hit from Mega Arrow, which I assumed he wouldn't do, or he could go into his Aerodactyl. And I end up catching the Aerodactyl, which is great, because I basically just got a free Pursuit, which puts his PZ in range of Ice Shard Mamoswine, puts him in range of Pursuit the next time if he tries to switch out, and I get a free kill after that anyway, because his Aerodactyl's in. He's not Mega, he's slower. So that works out. And then he goes Lando. And unfortunately for him, I am running Ice Fang. This set is interesting. I had a 20% chance to kill Arrow, 18.8%. I'm not going to pick it up, I'm not mad about that. But yeah, this is kind of why in a nutshell, if I might speak for Sketchmons for a bit, because I like Sketchmons a lot. Arrow is just a very cool mon because it has such an expansive move pool. And normally the problem is, its move pool aside from Stone Edge is just kind of weak. So it has all these cool options, but not terribly strong ones. But in Sketchmons, you can give it something like Sacred Fire, or Precipice Blades, or Diamond Storm, or most commonly, Dragon Ascent. And that gives it just that little power for all these little coverage moves. So while you normally wouldn't see Ice Fang Arrow, because it doesn't have the chance to like fit that, it has to be running like a utility move like Stealth Rock, or Roost, or Hone Claws, or whatever, or Taunt. Because of that extra power, it lets you run Ice Fang. Pretty cool. In my opinion, anyway. So I'm going to drop the Ice Fang. He did 1,000 arrows, just not expecting me to stay in. He did have Stone Edge, you said, but he didn't want to click that because he figured, you know, I wouldn't be able to get him. I wasn't running Ice Fang. I was running Ice Fang, oopsie doopsie. He goes Greninja, and I'm going to make a pretty risky play. The most common Greninja is the Specs Ash Greninja, just running something like Steam Eruption or Water Spout. Just for like the strong water stab, because Ash Greninja is still very good in Sketchmons. It's an OU based metagame. So I figure Water Shuriken is a potential play. And if he Dark Pulses, and if I lose Gastrodon, I can still play around as Greninja with a combination of Scarf Tapu Lele and Aerodactyl being faster. So I'm going to go Gastrodon. He ends up making that prediction, goes for Dark Pulse, which I am still okay with. Obviously, I would have preferred a Water Shuriken, but that's whatever. But then he also reveals he's 1, not Life Orb, and 2, Protean. Protean without Life Orb. Like, what? I really don't... I don't know what I'm looking at here. I have no clue. So I'm going to go Heracross just as a general scouting thing. Hopefully he's not, like, Extra Sensory or something. Hopefully he's not Focus Sash or something. I guess he assumes I'm Scarf Megahorn, so he goes PZ. I did not want to click Pin Missile, because Pin Missile is fucking stupid. And I'm just going to click Close Combat. Like, I figured there's no way he's going Slowbro. That'd be pretty risky. Plus, any chip on that is good. And he goes Heracross and goes for Hydro Pump, and I dodge and kill him. And this is just a weird point, because afterwards he was seen calling that, like, a choke and a 1200 ladder play. So I'm just going to defend it for a second, because he was salty, and I totally understand that. And I totally respect that, but since the play was called, I might as well say I was pretty confident I could still do this, because even if he killed me, I've got Scarf Tapu Lele to force him out. So Lele beats Greninja. Slowbro beats Lele, but Slowbro has no recovery. And here's the key thing. With not that much chip, say 1 Lele Moonblast, Mamoswine, which you'll see what the set is, will be able to kill Slowbro even if it's burned. Even if it's burned, it'll kill both Slowbro and Greninja. So I figure worst case scenario, he kills me, I go Lele. I kill the I hit the Slowbro. And I can either go right to Mamoswine if it's enough chip, or like sack Aerodactyl, then go into Mamoswine so that it's not burned, and then like he can't win. I'm reasonably certain he can't win. I just have too much Death Bar and stuff. But whatever, he calls it a choke. I just don't agree with that. But, you know, I don't know what I'm talking about, man. I'm going to spam Close Combat, because at this point I didn't feel like revealing Pin Missile. I'd feel kind of stupid. That's really the only reason why. I was just like, I could Pin Missile, but I went either way, and I don't feel like it. And now I can go to Mamoswine and reveal that I am Z Bolt Strike. Very fun. On the team with Buzzwole, the Buzzwole has a Z move, and it's just Life Orb Bolt Strike. But because I have the Heracross, I have the Z move, so there you go. I would have killed Slowbro even if burned with only like mildly more chip. Like the amount of chip a Tapu Lele Moonblast does compared to a Heracross Close Combat. So, 4 games into 5, and man, I'm getting tired already. So, Mix and Mega. I am using a Chloe team. This is the one thing I didn't build for, just because frankly, I built for Mix and Mega during the Mix and Mega Open. It just didn't go too well. It wasn't terribly successful. And Mix and Mega has changed a lot since the Open. The Open was a while back, and Game Freak has released a lot of Mega Stones. So, in particular, the one that's mostly changed the meta is Pidgeotite, but there's a couple others that have been somewhat impactful. But yeah, the meta is completely different with Pidgeotite now. Shaman Sky, which Lax has, is one of the best things in the metagame, because it's allowed to hold Mega Stones. And with Pidgeotite, you get No Guard, and you get Grass Whistle. And a very, very fast, very, very strong Shaman, because it gets a special attack and speed boost from Pidgeotite, with No Guard Grass Whistle, is terrifying. Even in Uber's base metagame. I assume by this point most of the people watching are just other metagames players anyways, but I figured I'd go with that. So, plans. He's got Spike's Hyper Offense. I've got a buttload of Priority, and a Zygarde, which looks like it's going to be very good at cleaning, depending on what his Arceus form is, but my Zygarde is Pinsirite with the Airlaid Extreme Speed. It turns into a Flying type. Pretty strong Mon, don't know if you've heard of it. And if that Arceus form is not a Flying Resist, then boy is it going to go ham. That's kind of the plan. So leading off, I'm going to go Golisopod so I can just OHKO the Deoxys lead. Really nothing else to it than that. I assume immediately after he'll go to Primal Groudon and force me out, but you know what, that's fine. Because I have a Zygarde to switch in, I don't need Zygarde healthy, I just need it cleaning up at the end with Extreme Speed. Basically how this team handles Shaman is priority from Zygarde and priority from Refrigerate Weavile once it Mega Evolves with Glalie. So I'm going to go right into Zygarde. He reveals Sub, which is I'm like, what? The fuck is Sub? I don't really know. I'm never going to find out, but what I do know is that he misses Precipice Blades, and he later calls that like the massive game changer, he was salty, blah blah whatever. I don't, like, that's fine, I don't care about salt. But that really just does change the situation, because now Zygarde's not going to be weak. Like, I don't know, it's still not terribly different, but I do get to keep a full health Zygarde, which is really, really nice, and I figure, you know what, he's going to want that Groudon around. Doesn't need to let it die. He has an Arceus form in the back. He'll probably go to that. That's kind of what I expected, just the Arceus form, because really, I don't know what it is, but he doesn't have any flying resists. He has just a kind of weird team composition, so I figure he's probably going to the unrevealed Arceus form, so I'll double into Groudon, which can probably handle it. Groudon's also not terribly useful. Like, it beats Golisopod, Shaman, and Genesect to an extent, but all of those, like, I have other checks too. He's going to reveal his Glalie Explosion Genesect, which is a very cool lure. Not something I've really seen, and also, I guess, like, his own priority to beat my priority. But Explosion just doesn't kill me. So, yeah, I get to survive that. Get up my rocks, die to what turned out to be an Earthquake Ghostius, which tells me it's probably Swords Dance offensive, which is great, because look, no Zygarde checks. Look, full health Zygarde. So I definitely understand why I was kind of mad about that. And I'm just going to go Yveltal, because it's basically going to get a kill and then get slept by Shaman, because that's all he can do to it. Like, Yveltal is just a really big threat at this point, so he's going to sack the Groudon. He has just decided that it's least useful. And then go Shaman, and I considered keeping Yveltal not slept, but I decided, like, I just didn't need to. Like, I'm in a great position here. So Shaman comes in, and once he sleeps, I basically just have to make sure, as long as he doesn't have a sub up, I can revenge him with priority from Zygarde to Weavile, and that's fine. So I'm going to go right into Arceus Steel, because even if he predicts me in Earth Powers, I just need no sub. He ends up going for HP, I don't know, Ice, something or other, I don't know. Earth Power just doesn't kill, though. And although I can't kill him, he's too weak. This is all I need. This is the only place that I need to be. Because now I can go into Golisopod, revenge him with this priority. He can't Swords Dance on Golisopod, which means he has to go to his own Golisopod to beat my Golisopod. And if he manages to do that, if he manages to like win ties and stuff, oh no, he doesn't need to win ties because I'm not running Leech Life, he is. But the point is, he has to use his Golisopod to beat my Golisopod, and then at that point Zygarde comes in, clicked Extreme Speed, his Arceus can't switch into it, and it's basically going to stop him right there. It could have been a tricky situation if his Arceus or his Golisopod got to set up or something, but it's not. And even if Zygarde was weakened, I could have just Extreme Speeded. Because it wasn't, I got to return, but Extreme Speed killed Golisopod, it 2KO'd Arceus Ghost, so it really doesn't matter. Actually, maybe Golisopod lives, but on like 2%, so at that point Weavile just cleans up, because Weavile has a Throat Chop for Arceus Ghost. And that is going to be the story of how I beat Lax, I guess. Really just a weird series overall. He definitely, like, he got me good in the games he won. In the games I won, it was a lot closer. and he argued definitely some luck. I don't know. That's not what my focus is on anyway, but I hope you guys enjoyed just some other metagame stuff, because you know what? I can, and why not? Yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this stuff, and I'll see y'all with the next round of playoffs, maybe? I don't know, depends on how it goes. I haven't played it yet. Anyway, bye.